From Doha, Hasan Mahmud joins me. He's a Bangladesh Affairs analyst and professor of sociology at Northwestern University in Qatar. As we've just outlined the profile of the main candidate, Muhammad Yunus, who apparently has already agreed. He's been asked by the student coordinators, would you head up an interim government? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. He's an expert in finance. He's a banker. Is that the most appropriate person given the political turmoil at the moment?
Thank you for having me, and I totally endorse and support his nomination by the student protest leaders as the head of the interim government or caretaker government. Well, I mean, he is known as, I mean, as you said, people who doesn't know what he has been doing more closely as a financier, but his microcredit program and other associated, like dozens of other associated social development programs actually would give you a more comprehensive and a rather like complete picture of who he is. He is not just a financier, I mean, to be fair, because he has been doing much more than financial help or like designing and implementing microcredit. With microcredit, there are dozens of other developmental initiatives which come along as a package, full package. So he has been working at the grassroots in Bangladesh society, particularly in remote rural areas where traditional government has less or limited access. So he knows the country from bottom up, and he has vast experience, much like any popular grassroots level popular political leaders. He has experience, he has knowledge, and he so far he has demonstrated his good intention to help the people in need of help. So I think he is by far the best possible choice for heading the interim government, who would lead the entire country from these rubbles of this revolution to a peaceful democratic transition.
Yeah, I was just reading, he's 83 years old, so he brings a whole lifetime of experience to this. But will he be able to just take that position to lead the country into the future without some kind of struggle against the country's military? It seems like the students are very wary of the military, even to come out and say, we don't want you involved in any way in this interim government. Is there a danger that the army might just try to seize power?
That's a very good question, and I totally agree that the students are rightfully worried about and they are cautious because in our past we saw the army step in during political power vacuum, and some of those army regimes actually ruled over the country for a couple of years, and it took substantial amount of sacrifice from popular political parties to come back to the regular democratic system. Having said that, this time I believe that the army has also grown mature, so as the public, and therefore you might have noticed already that the head of the army has already declared that the army has no intention to interfere or come into public administration. Rather, it would facilitate a smooth and peaceful transition of power. And the student leaders have already declared their choice for the head of the interim government, and they are demanding that the present parliament, which had been elected by a absolutely rigged election under Sheikh Hasina's regime, has to be dissolved by, I guess, today, 3 p.m. Bangladesh time, which is less than 2 hours from now. And so they are making two demands. One is to hand over power formally to a interim government headed by Professor Yunus, and then dissolve the parliament. But still, that would be just the beginning of restoring, the state, as well as going back to, regular democratic system, because Hasina regime has installed its loyalists in each and every important and critical institutions who are still out there. So they have also to be identified, recognized, and replaced with people who would do due diligence to uphold the constitution, as well as to restore law and order in the society.
Yeah, these student leaders seem incredibly organised. They've managed to remove a prime minister, and now they're setting deadlines. We will keep a close eye, of course, on what information emerges from that deadline, as you said, in a couple of hours' time. Great to speak to you. Hasan Mahmud is my guest, who is a professor of sociology at Northwestern University in Qatar.
For having me.